So this is a 2005 Nissan Maxima, the 3.5 liter engine. It's a front wheel drive. In order to get this transmission out is uh, dropping it down with the subframe. Now to do this, you have to disconnect quite a bit of stuff. Make sure that the engine and transmission is separated, which means when you fish it out and you can get enough room to, weasel it out from the driver's side wheel well. Now, I've been working on this for a couple days. Obviously, this is my first time attempting to drop this style of vehicle's transmission out with the subframe. It's not like your Cadillac or GM motor or whatever. This is basically made by, Toyota, Nissan. They do things different. They have a lot of, electrical sensors on this vehicle. Um, they they also have a different setup on the transmission. Now, this transmission is not your typical automatic transmission. This transmission also has a sports package on it where you can go from automatic and switch over the gear selector. And now you can drive this vehicle in manual. Now, it's a smart transmission, which let's say you don't shift when it's at its regulated RPMs, it'll shift for you. Same thing with if you're not going fast enough, it'll downshift also. So it's like, that peace of mind of, wearing out the hard parts in your transmission or your clutch plate. Now, in order for this transmission to run, it takes a certain type of fluid, obviously. All transmissions do. But this transmission also takes like a hydromatic, I want to say is called. Um, it looks like hydraulic fluid. It's a real clear, light tint to it. It's almost transparent or translucent material, but it's still got the same viscosity capabilities as a regular ATF, which has, that auburn red, tint to it. Now, I do know that you cannot buy this transmission fluid anywhere else but the dealer. So it is a dealer product. It's a dealer item. You have to go to the dealer for Nissan and go to the parts department and order it. On the price, I want to say it's pretty expensive, but ballpark figure, you're looking at about $10 a quart or more. It's been a while since I've bought transmission fluid or had to do transmission work, but when I was doing the work, it was, just under, roughly under $10. But this situation right here is a little pricey. Um, there is some recalls on this transmission. Had a lot of problems. That's one of the reasons why I'm replacing it with another one. As you can see, I have the transmission right here. And what we have here is the turbo. I want to say it's like a hydromatic turbo. This I didn't see any like transmission cooling lines to it. I noticed that this part right up in here, your coolant runs through this. And I'm guessing it did away with those transmission lines going up to the radiator and going through the radiator with the coolant and cooling off that way and then coming back to the transmission. But this one is cooled with the coolant coming through the transmission itself from hoses from the upper part of the engine block. The upper hose comes through from here and it comes over and it connects to that, what you see down there. That's pretty innovative, if you ask me. That just means more hoses to fail on you in the future. But other than that, I haven't had to. I've had to replace the radiator once. Now it's the transmission. There is a revised kit for these transmissions, and that gets pretty expensive because there's a lot of shift solenoid packs in, right before the valve body. I, there again, I mean, they even have a whole clutch plate system package you can put in them and whatnot. I'm not really set up for rebuilding transmissions. I would love to really rebuild. You know, I think the kit's like a little over $1,000. You could probably find it cheaper on Amazon or whatnot. But this is a very good vehicle. I love this car. I would never get rid of it unless I wanted to sell it and get something faster, like maybe a street bike or something. But this car really performs very well. I did not know that this same year, this same model had a manual transmission, 6 speed. I would have preferred that one over this, but I came across this and I fell in love with this engine. This car, matter of fact, it's kind of looking a little rough right now, but it's coming back slowly. It's had some rear end damage, um, that is going to probably take a little bit more time to finesse that back to where it was. It's almost original, but not original state. But I could do that in the next segment or something. Some body work, and I'm still learning a lot about that. But I got a lot of time on my hands, so this is going to be my new project, and this is going on day three. Day three. Been working on this. I had my twin daughters up here. Yeah, they weren't that much of a help, and you know, this is a pretty complex vehicle. I mean, if you know the basics enough to, get around things, make sure that you're doing everything safe, because safety is the number one rule. Make sure your wheels are chalked. Make sure you have the parking brake uh, on. Make sure you have it in park, obviously. Make sure you disconnect the battery, because you're going to have to disconnect the fuel rail, the fuel line to the fuel rail. Now, I thought I could pull it out from the top. You can't. I actually did a little damage right here at the fuel rail, and you can see that right in here, I bent this guy up, and that was because of the bell housing right here. I can't go up here without taking the upper plenum off with the fuel rail going to all 6 cylinders. Now that's more work than I want to tear into. I will be replacing one of the coils later on after I'm done. And that is the number 3 in the back, in the middle. I've done a tune-up on this vehicle, and it still came back with the same trouble codes. Misfire cylinder 3, which is the P000 code. And yeah, so you got to be careful with this. This is you can twinge it. You can almost see where I accidentally it started twisting right here. I can probably pry that down a little bit with a little bar or something, that cups over it. But right now, I'm not worried about that. I'm gonna have to do that later on when I get closer to putting this back together. I will bend that down, finesse it down, not real, real strong, like, because you can break this off. This is soft metal. Now, other than that, this is pretty much my first video. So if I post this, I hope this could help out anybody that has this vehicle, or wants to ask me questions. I'm going to start a new blog. I think maybe that will start helping me get back into the trade. I was working in an airport doing aircraft, doing body work and stuff like that, and it just got too much, and I got my kids, and I'm homeless, and blah blah blah. So this is gonna be like my new thing. I'm gonna start doing maybe a YouTube page or something and start shooting this vlog off. All right, so don't be uh, too critical on everything. Just make sure you got your basics down, and yeah, have fun.